Hello, this video is going to show you how to create a custom map in Tableau where I need to use a unique shapefile. Okay, let's go ahead and get started then. So the data that I'm going to be plotting is data on chronic wasting disease for deer in the state of Wisconsin. So here's the data in this table here. This data is presented to me for the different what they call deer management units, which are just geographic regions in Wisconsin, okay, that they use for deer management. Now we can see here that Adams is the name of the first, has deer management unit 1, 2 is Ashland, BR is Bad River Reservation, all the way down. I have the number of deer analyzed, the number positive here, these data over on the right are the number of positives. Okay, there's about, I think, 70 or so different deer management units. Now, in Wisconsin, these are closely related to counties, but they're not exactly the same thing. Okay. Also in this data, there are some values up at the top where I have very small counts. These are maybe deer management units that aren't being used anymore. So like 10, 11, 33, 42. So we're going to not use those when we're trying to create our map. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a copy of this data. Open this up. Bring this into view for you. Again, I'm not going to be using a few of those at the top. I'll just get rid of those. I'm not going to be plotting those out. The other thing that I want to pay attention to is the deer management, the name of the column for the different numbers for the deer management units, and then the name of the column for the different deer management unit names. So that here is called DMU name here. Okay, so we're going to want to remember that when we try to bring this data together for the plotting. So let's go ahead and save this, do this quickly. Sorry about that. Let's get it into somewhere. We're going to call this CWD results. Okay, now in order to create the map, I actually need a custom or unique shapefile. So I did an internet search for Wisconsin deer management units shapefile, and I landed here on this page. I need to download this custom shapefile. Okay, and when that gets downloaded, okay, that's going to probably be a zip file. They're oftentimes zip files because they're quite large. I'm going to want to put that in the same location as my data file here. Now, once I have the shapefile and the data that I want plotted, I need to open that in Tableau. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Bring Tableau into view here. To open the shapefile, I want to select Spatial File. And I can go ahead and specify that zip folder. That's fine. Say Open here. Now this is what a shapefile looks like. Down here in the lower right, lots of different columns in there. Some of the more important columns are the geometry, which is actually going to be used to do the plotting. And then also what either the deer management unit number, okay, that doesn't look right, or the deer management unit names. And that here looks like those are the deer management unit names. So in the shapefile, they called the column name that had the different deer management units, the names of those, is called Deer MGMT. All right, so become a little bit familiar with what you got in the shapefile. Now when I go over to my sheet to start my viz, what I'm going to want to do is pick up the geometry and pull that onto my viz here. And what that's going to do is plot out the different deer management units for you. So again, there's about 70 of those across the state of Wisconsin. Now the shapefile is just relating these different shapes, okay, for the deer management units with the latitude and longitude measurements. So that's essentially what that shapefile is doing for you. What I'm missing here though is my number of positive CWDs, right? That was in a different file. So let's go back to the data source. I need to add a data source and go grab the data file now. So I'm going to go grab that CWD results. That's going to bring a second file in here. I want to pick up that file that has what I'm actually going to be plotting and drag that onto the space here. Okay. Now, I do get a error here. So what is this error about? I'm getting a red triangle, and this says this relationship has no matching fields. Edit the relationship to select the matching fields. So again, what is happening there is in my shapefile, the name of the different deer management units was called deer MGMT. Whereas in my results file, or my data file that I'm using to do the plotting, the deer management units were under a column called DMU name. So I got to specify that these two things are the same thing for these two files. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Down here is where I'm doing that. When I'm trying to do my join, the left side is the shape file here. So I need to select, what was it? Deer MGMT? That is the same thing as DMU name over here. And once that has been specified, then my join has been done successfully. So now let's go back over here to do my plotting. Okay. And then you can see that I got my results file here. Right now, all of this is being treated as just one geographic unit here. So notice when I hover over it, all of them are being highlighted. What I want to do is pull in the DMU names here into detail. And what that's going to do is now identify the different deer management units. Now, there's always going to be some issues with this. So for example, when I select here, I do see about 6 or 8 different regions where the DMU name is missing. All right, now there's various reasons that might be occurring. One of them is that maybe the results file does not have all of the deer management units in it. More common though is something like, let's take DMU name off and bring in the names from the shape file onto detail. More common is a misalignment between the names in the two files. So here, this was coming from the shape file. In the shape file, this particular deer management unit is named St. Croix. St. Croix. All right. Let's go look up the deer management name in our results file for St. Croix. So let's go back over to our data source. I want to pick the results. Okay. Here I am, results. And I want to slide down to St. Croix. All right. So I got to go down a ways. St. Croix, St. Croix. And what they did for St. Croix in the results file, sorry about this. Get it lined up here for us. Let's go. What they did for St. Croix in the results file is spelt out Saint. Okay, so the reason that we were not getting the correct data plotted for St. Croix was not because it wasn't there, but because the two names didn't match. So what I need to do to fix this is I need the names in my data file to match the names in the shape file. So I would have to change these to St. Croix if I wanted St. Croix to be plotted on my map. All right. Now I'm not going to take the time to go in and do that, but again, you'd want to do that in order to get the data plotted for all of the different deer management units. If I bring this positive for CWD onto color here, okay, now you can see that the map is being created, being color-coded by the number of CWDs. A lot of the state of Wisconsin has 0 here. Okay, 0, 0. You can see there's 1 up there in Washburn. If I go to St. Croix, again, the positive for CWD is missing. Again, that's happening because the names don't align between my results and shapefile. So go in and correct your names in your data file to match those in the shapefile. But again, aside from those few where you don't have information, you can see that CWD tends to be most problematic in south central and southwestern Wisconsin here. Okay, so here's are the different deer management units where I have a lot of CWD results here. Okay, so that's how you would create a map with a custom shapefile in Tableau. All right, thanks for listening. Have a good day.